Namaste. The growth of China, even though it is ambitious, but it is not peaceful, that is problematic to the world. Since decades, it is following the pattern of building the military bases across small island nations or the proxy states, wherein it establishes its military or naval bases and try to create a sense of threat or threatfulness to other nations. The security and freedom of those independent nations are at stake. It was called a string of pearls to create a chain of naval bases across the region where it can enhance its influence, whether it is in the South China Sea, whether it is in the Indian Ocean region, whether it is towards Europe. It was trying to do the same thing. Now, with some sort of enhanced terminology, it has come up with that idea of one belt, one road, wherein it thinks that it is going to connect the world and create an economic environment which will bolster the futures of everyone by creating or improvising the supply chain. That is its core idea, to create the market. But in reality, it has continued to do its older, ambitious, quite threatful activity, that is creating the military bases in the name of economic corridor, threatening the independent countries, threatening the world order, using the proxy states against another independent state. In this case, it is India. If the state is not proxy, they will use the proxy head of the states by funding the elections, by making them win the elections, thereby trying to have the hold or say in the government activities, rules, ideas, and everything of day to day affairs. This trend has been seen very widely, very assertively in case of China. China is doing the same thing with respect to Solomon Island. Recently, we have understood how the nation, especially the island states, collapsed, probably because of the corona impact where the tourism was vastly hit. However, the most important factor for their crisis is their proximity to China. China used them as their proxy state. China gave huge promises, started doing some huge projects. But initially it was looking very good because they had all the support of China, whether it is military, economically, whether it is a market support, whether it is a supply chain support, everything China promised. But over the period of time, those nations realized we are in the debt trap. Neither the projects are over, nor our sovereignty is independent, nor our debt is getting reduced. Therefore, they were into that sort of debt trap. Sri Lankan crisis is one of the best example how Sri Lanka went into the hands of China, and because of Chinese debt trap diplomacy or economy, even Sri Lanka suffered a lot. It required India's helping hand during the crisis. Otherwise, its future would have been in huge stake. Similarly, China, in order to contain India, in order to create trouble to India, it is building China-Pakistan economic corridor, wherein it has got the direct influence over the decisions of Pakistan. That means its democracy and its independence is at the stake. At the same time, through funding, it is deciding the policies of Pakistan. Thirdly, the sovereignty itself is in the stake. Finally, where Pakistan is a failed state and it is one of the not so booming economy, it is failing economy. In such scenario, it requires the help of China, where China is misusing the condition of Pakistan to its credit, and finally blustering the Pakistan in its own destruction. That's how the Pakistan may be on the verge of debt trap because of Chinese policies. China is doing this string of pearls kind of thing, or one belt one road kind of thing, or building the military bases. We have seen how it is threatening the world order UN clause as well in the South China Sea. It is creating same kind of a threatening situation even in the Indian Ocean, which is quite safer if we consider that minus China. We are quite prosperous, we follow some sort of world order, and we have some sort of mutual agreements, but China doesn't like this. It wants to use Sri Lanka's Hambantota port, it wants to use Gwadwar port of Pakistan, it wants to use Maldives as its base to contain India, or to create to create some sort of trouble to India. Now it is open book. The case is open and shut. It is very simple that the newly elected president of Maldives, Mohammad Maizu, is an agent of China. He is taking the Maldives towards the destruction, towards the debt trap. Initially, the Maldives had a very good tourism economy. Now, because China funded his elections and China was behind his win, and from the very first day, he was of the fact that India should go out, Indian military should go out of Maldives. Even though India has been one of the closest friends, it has come to help Maldives whenever it is required. It has helped during the water crisis, it has helped during the disasters, it has helped to bolster the economy, it has given or gifted military aircrafts and other facilities for the safeguard of Maldives. But Maldivian president thinks that avoiding India is he thinks that avoiding India totally would lead Maldives towards some ages of prosperity. Probably the false promise he got from China. He is acting like a stooge of China. He is a proxy agent of China. It is very clear. Now it is nothing to close, or there is nothing to hide about. He went to China in the month of January, seeking the help of China, that as soon as Indian troops leave, Chinese should come and occupy. Now, he has fooled the people of Maldives, saying that no foreign military should come and protect our land. Initially or primarily, Maldives do not have the capacity to protect itself. It requires some foreign powers to help them protect their region. Now, anti-India sentiment blasted by Mohammad Maizu. This sentiment was used during the elections to incite the radical forces. All that is fine and done. Now he won the election. He went to the China with a begging bowl because he is a proxy agent. He got the help, he got the promise. He said, as soon as the Indian troops exit Maldives, we will come and enter the Maldives. We will come in the name of, look at the idea, that they are coming not as, or not in the military uniform. Wow, how they are fooling the people. In the face of it, it is looking like a technical team. Some technical cooperation is going on from China. They are coming and occupying the spaces left over by Indian military, which was trying to cooperate with Maldives. Now it is clear that China is donating some 12 green ambulances for health requirement. Now for the Maldives, the Kerala region and the southern Indian region was very close. Now because Maldives thinks that India as an enemy state, now it is going to suffer. The people of Maldives are going to suffer. Who created this situation? Mohammad Maizu, newly elected government, newly elected president of Maldives, who is a who is a proxy agent of China. Now, the base is very clear, stage is open. He has asked Indian troops to exit. Indian troops have exited as per the promise, as per the request. Now these spaces are directly and indirectly occupied by Chinese military personnels in the name of technical or some sort of expertise teams. They have come. Now Maldivian sovereignty is under China. The first aspect of China has been successfully completed. The second aspect would be, see, look at the dichotomy, look at the hypocrisy. India has gifted a free aircraft to Maldives. Now that aircraft will be handled by Chinese personnels. Wow, what a beauty. Second, it is moving towards the debt trap. As we know, the fact that India was one of the largest tourist country, or Indians were the largest tourist customers to Maldives because of boycott Maldives sentiment within India. Now India is not the top country to visit Maldives. India is one of the sixth, right? It accounts for 6.4% of total Maldivian tourism economy. That means it is in the sixth place. Now the first place is occupied by China. How devastating it may be for Maldives. Now Prime Minister has given the call to develop our islands like Lakshadweep and other islands on the lines of Maldives and boost the tourism economy, so that whatever the economic prowess Indians are trying to give to Maldives, it can be given to Indian islands itself. Therefore, it is a mutually win-win situation for Indians as well as Indian islands. That was one of the bold call, clarion call given by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now it started directly impacting the Maldives, which is almost moving towards debt trap. Now the final nail in the coffin was hit by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now Maldives is going to suffer. On the military front, it says no to India. That means Indian help is closed door. It may be a kind of embarrassment to India, but it will be disastrous for Maldives itself. Second, economically, it is being hit hardly. Societally, even since the times immemorial, Maldives was never considered to be an enemy state. It was considered a very friendly state, neighbor state of India. India never thought of big brother policy against Maldives, never bullied. Yet Mohammad Maizu, who went to China in January after getting few promises from China, started barking at India by saying that India is a bully, or his statement exact verbatim was that Maldives may be small, but that doesn't give others the license to bully the country. It was direct on to India. Now it is a turn of External Affairs Minister Subramanya Jaishankar, who directly and indirectly gave the answer to Maldivian president, by stating Maldives don't provide. Okay, sorry, I will repeat his exact words. If Indians are bullies, right? If India is a bully state, we should read like that. Okay. Bullies don't provide 4.5 billion US dollars in aid when the neighbor state are in trouble. If India is a bully, it would exploit the situation of Sri Lanka. India is not a bully, that's why it is helping the Sri Lanka to come out of the trouble during its crisis times. Subramanya Jaishankar was referring to the assistance given to Sri Lanka during its crisis in 2022, economic crisis. Now Sri Lanka is being recovered. During that time, its closest ally, China, did not come to the help. Because of China only, Sri Lanka was in that situation. And India was the only country which was helping Sri Lanka to come out of that situation. And still, even today, India is continuing that helping hand to Sri Lanka. It is one of the small example. That is also true when Maldives was in crisis. In every time India has helped the Maldives. But today they don't remember. Probably because they have become the proxy state of China, knowingly or unknowingly, or they are under the rule of a proxy agent appointed by China. Now, the important question for India: India is a large country. Should we fear for Maldivian developments? Kind of yes and no. We can ignore and isolate the Maldives, therefore, allow it to collapse on its own. On the other hand, it is also a threat to Indian Ocean region. Till now, India was very clear and it was fighting China. Whenever China wanted to create its naval bases or military bases in the region, through the diplomacy and other measures, India has always stopped China from entering the Indian Ocean region, especially where our nation is situated geographically. But now Maldives has become more closer to China and military bases would be a reality. The direct establishment may not be published, but indirectly its activity will continue, surveillance may continue, shipping vessels may start traveling in the region. Probably they need to use that thing to have a idea of surveillance in India. All such factors are a possibility. Now that's why it is threatful to Indian Ocean region. Now India has to counterbalance it. How? Probably using Quad, probably with Malabar exercise platforms where they are solely concentrated against the Chinese dominance or Chinese infiltration in the regions of Indian Ocean region. It needs to use the diplomacy, it needs to use its allyship with USA to counter the suspicious activities of China and to uphold its sovereignty and independence and to fight the threatfulness from China. And also, it should push for the international organizations to uphold the freedom of navigation and rule based order rather than China based order. Now, India should also think of creating the pressure elsewhere where Chinese economic activities, naval activities are booming. And we must know that there are many choke points. Those things are a reality. Now, India must use the Japanese influence, use its allyship with Japan, or the use its influence in the South China Sea to counterbalance the activities of China in the Indian Ocean region. And probably it should start engaging with Maldivian opposition parties to counterbalance the Chinese influence, unnecessary or provoking Chinese influence in the Maldivian region, which may be overpowering the real sovereignty of Maldives itself. India has vast options left in front of it. Now we need to see post elections what are the primary measures will be taken by the India, whether on the economic front, whether it is on the diplomatic front, whether it is directly counterbalancing the Chinese impact, or giving this direct message that there won't be any bases in Maldives, that of China, probably through the allies pressurizing the China to move out of Maldives. There are multiple options left in front of India. However, this step could be a threatening factor for the future prosperity of India, where China may create a sense of trouble, may create a dominance, may start surveilling, may provoke Maldives against India. Even though it's a small country, it may not harm directly, but through radicalization and other aspects, it can still harm. India should bolster its economy so that Maldives should think twice before competing with India. Apart from the real sense of competition, the real sense of economic competition, it should not be going beyond the board to trouble India. That should be the basic idea, because India believes in the concept that mutually we grow. There is no big brother attitude. There is no question of bullying anybody. It is that we grow together and prosperity comes together. That is the core idea of Bharat. And Bharat believes in that central idea itself. It is for the Maldives to understand this, shun away from the unethical, wrongful influence of China, and remain independent at least. If it doesn't want the help, or it doesn't want the military aid, military presence of India, well, all good. But it should not fall into the trap of China, endangering the future of Maldives, at the same time threatening the India's sovereignty, India's freedom, India's security. That is the bottom line. But it is very clear now, Mohammad Maizu cannot come and do the drama by saying we are only anti-India, but our sentiment is for the Maldivian liberation, or Maldivian independence, or Maldivian, sovereignty. That kind of words are a false notions, because it is very clear from these developments that he cannot hide out. It is very clear he is nothing but a proxy agent of China, working for the interests of China in Maldives. Think for yourself. Dhanyavad. Jai Hind. Shreyanka Isranade. Take care.